Can you see the first book? Don't try to sneak, and I'll let you know all of these books soon, right? And I'll take thoda sa of your time, but you will not regret it. Also read what trigger warnings before reading these books, because I do not want to get into trouble. Hi, and welcome to yet another book recommendation video. As you probably have gathered from my title, or not my title. My title is Pancholi. What's your title? Let me know in the comments. But as you have already gathered from the title of this video is going to be some sad book recommendation. As a reader, I absolutely love reading sad books, and I have constantly been reading different complex concepts and emotions and about various issues and stuff, about depression, about suicide, and a lot of things. But these 10 have really made an impact on me, and I have read these since past year. And yeah, this is only what I have read this last year. And from that collection, here are 10 really good books that would probably make you cry or probably make you feel that grief that the characters go through. First book is very beautiful and poetically sad book, which is Letters to Milena by Franz Kafka. He's one of my favorite authors, obviously, right? Obviously. Kafka first met Milena Jasinska in 1920 when she was translating his early short prose into Czech, and their relationship quickly developed into a deep attachment. She was his feeling, Such was his feeling for Milena that Kafka showed her his diaries, and in doing so laid bare his heart and his conscience. While at times Milena's genius for living gave Kafka a new sense of vitality, it ultimately exhausted him, and their relationship was to last little over 2 years. In 1924, Kafka died in a sanatorium near Vienna, while Milena died in 1944 at the hands of the Nazis, leaving these letters as a moving record of their relationship. So even though this book is a very at times manipulative and red flag oriented, because uh, she is actually married to someone else and she does not even want to let go of that man, and still has this relationship with Kafka, and they are writing letters to each other back and forth, and it has just collection of Kafka's letters to her. They wish to meet each other, they wish to visit each other and spend their lives together, but that does not really happen, and that's what makes it a sad. And yeah, it could be a good read for you if you are into unrequited love or forbidden love or anything that's not a happy ending to a love story. Second book is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. She writes mythology in a very new contemporary perspective. Greece in the age of heroes, Patroclus, an awkward young prince, has been exiled to the court of King Peleus and his perfect son Achilles. Despite their differences, Achilles befriends the shamed prince, and as they grow into young men skilled in the arts of war and medicine, their bond blossoms into something deeper, despite the displeasure of Achilles' mother, Thetis, a cruel sea goddess. But when word comes that Helen of Sparta has been kidnapped, Achilles must go to war in distant Troy and fulfill his destiny. Torn between love and fear for his friend, Patroclus goes with him, little knowing that the years that follow will test everything they hold dear. So it really made me feel some deep grief, and I recommend it to you. It's a good sad experience. I was very enchanted with how this book was written. It's truly beautiful how she writes about this legendary third book is Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar. This is the only novel she has ever written, and or the only one that got published. So in this book is also her semi-autobiographical work. So you find fragments of her life in this one, about academic life, how she goes from being a science student to a humanities student, which somehow resembles with me. And then she talks about academic validation, love, and relationships, and adulthood, and many different stuff that goes around while the teenage to adult transition happens. So it's a good read for every teenager out there, every adult out there. It's a good, simple, easy read, but also very sad, very thought-provoking book. So yeah, it's a good book. Please pick this one. Next is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I really want to read more of her books because of this one. This book is about, let me read the blurb for you. Reclusive Hollywood icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant to write her story, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career, Monique listens in fascination. From making her way to Los Angeles in the 1950s to leaving show business in the 80s, and of course the seven husbands along the way, Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love. But as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in tragic and irreversible ways. So yeah, plot twists are to die for in this book. It's also very sad. It also has a very strong feministic approach. Also, it is homosexual. Like there's homosexuality in the books. Really thought provoking. It's a very beautifully written book. And even if you are not interested in Hollywood or anything related to this book would probably make you wish to complete it. Right? It's really a great book. It's a book that one must read in their lifetime. Next book, the very popular A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. And it's sad that I'm recommending this book, but somehow I think there could be no book sadder than this. This book is so over romanticized that it has become cringe in some sort of way. But truly, this is a very worthy read because it is a very deeply, very uh, precisely written book. Every character you get to know about their past, you get to know about their present and their future on the way along the way you read the book. And you get to know about every character in a very detailed manner, which makes you very much relate to the character, or which makes you connect to the characters very deeply. And I think I have never read a book which made me indulge so much into a story like this one. Every character has some sort of grief in their life, but how they go about it and how they go through life. I was in a good state of mind while I picked this one, and I thought it would be a fun read, but it was not. I could not think about anything else for months, and I still it still haunts me. Of all these books that I'm going to recommend today, this one is what I do not want to recommend, but it somehow would be a worthless video if this book does not get talked about when it is about sadness, grief, misery. So yeah, this one, read this one or don't. Another book is The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, and she is a diasporic writer. So obviously, this book talks about the complex concepts around identity, belonging, homeland. And let me read the blurb. Gogol was named in haste after his father's favorite author. Growing up in an Indian family in suburban America, he finds himself yearning to cast off his awkward name, and with it the inherited values it represents. Determined to live far removed from that of his parents, Gogol sets off on his own path only to discover that search for identity depends on much more than unease. A great book. It has everything that one might be looking for while reading a book. Everything, I tell you, everything. Almost also made me cry. I read this book because my teacher recommended it in one class. Next, On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous. This book I read while I was in 11th or 12th. This is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read, written when the speaker, Little Dog, is in his late 20s. The letter unearths a family's history that began before he was born. It tells of the lasting impact of war and of his family's struggle to forge a new future. And it serves as a doorway into parts of Little Dog's life his mother has never known, episodes of bewilderment, fear, and passion, all the while moving closer to an unforgettable revelation. This book, let me give you some spoilers. Next is The Virgin Suicide. Obviously, as the title suggests, is about suicide. Let me read the blurb. Obviously, the five Lisbon sisters, beautiful, eccentric, and now gone, had always been a point of obsession for the entire neighborhood. Although the boys that once loved them from far have grown up, they remain determined to understand a tragedy that has defied explanation. The question persists: why did all five of the Lisbon girls take their own lives? Weird, very would I say, crazy novel that I have read. I did not know what I was getting myself into while I picked this book because the cover seemed very fun, very beautiful. I thought it would be a sarcastic what title, but it was not. It was literally the title. So yeah, not judge a book by its cover is what my lesson was after this book, and it is pure misery and pure weird craziness and chaos, if I must say. It's very weird book. I do not recommend it actually, but it's pure misery. Another one, My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I read this book in the start of the year, and I got this because it was New Year. I ordered it in December of the last year. So when I ordered it in December, I was expecting it to be some sort of revolutionary. I read somewhere that it is a revolutionary novel, so I thought maybe it's about how we should relax and rest or something while we go about life. But it was not anything like it. It's pure depressive experience reading this book. Let me read the blurb. Young, thin, pretty, a recent Columbia graduate, an apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, paid for by her inheritance. Our narrator has many of the advantages of life, but there is a vacuum at the heart of things. And it is not just the loss of her parents, or the way her Wall Street boyfriend treats her, or her sadomasochistic relationship with her best friend. It's the year 2000 in the world's greatest city, a glitter with wealth and possibility. What could be so terribly wrong? It portrays depression or misery in a very negative manner with drugs and alcohol and stuff, which I think is appropriate for this book, but it would not be for any other book. And she's also visiting this therapist and getting medicines to sleep. So she's constantly just sleeping, which is a very weird book because I'm reading her sleeping and doing nothing. So it was a very weird read when I was reading it and I was in the middle of it. I was like, where is this even going? And then you realize that okay, it's just what it is, right? So yeah, she's just very miserable and she gets medicines to sleep and she realizes that she cannot sleep with that dose, so she gets more medicines and it's too much. Last but never the least is one of again my favorite books, Please Look After Mother by Kyung Sook Shin. This book really made an impact on me. Obviously, as the title suggests, it's about a mother. Let me read the blurb. Sonyo is a wife and mother to five grown-up children. She is the one constant and often unacknowledged presence in all of their lives, supporting them no matter what the cost. Then one day, traveling into Seoul by train, Sonyo vanishes. Whilst her family desperately searches for her, they discover the desires and hopes Sonyo kept hidden. Through a series of revelations, the family members slowly paint a picture of Sonyo as they never knew her and come to realize the truth about all mothers and children, that affection, exasperation, hope, and guilt add up to love. So it has very deep exploration of motherhood and the relationship of a mother with everyone around her, her children, her husband's family, and it explains deeply how the mother Sonia was like and what she has been through. It has a very beautiful point in this book that we do not ever see our mothers as a child or as a girl or as someone who has other relationships out of this one particular position that we have uh, put her on, which is of a mother. It also makes you question a few things, not just to yourself but also to ask your mother. And I did ask my mother a few questions after reading this book, and I realized that this book made me more close to my mother, because it made me realize a lot of things. I must say it was a very enlightening experience reading this book. So I think reading this book will also improve your relationship with your mother. So read this book. Like, what are you doing? She's the one who's given you life. Why don't you give her a better experience at this thing called life? And yeah, this is it for this video. With all these books, I will take your leave. If you like this video, then please stay tuned for more and show love to this one until I come back again next Thursday with another one. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. Bye bye.